So, what if some of your weirdest habits, the things you kind of do without thinking, were actually signs of a really high IQ? Today, we're going to break down 5 surprising traits that might just prove you're more brilliant than you give yourself credit for, even on those days you feel, well, the exact opposite.
You know that feeling, right? We've all been there. That little voice in your head that whispers, maybe I'm just not getting it. But here's a crazy thought. What if that very doubt is actually a clue? A sign that your brain is just wired up in a completely different, more complex way.
And this really gets to the heart of the whole thing. It's a paradox, isn't it? The people who are genuinely the sharpest tools in the shed often don't see themselves that way at all. It makes you wonder if maybe real intelligence is a lot quieter, a lot more humble than we've been led to believe.
Okay, so here's the deal. As we walk through these next 5 habits, I want you to keep a mental checklist. Seriously, if 3 or more of these make you go, whoa, that's me, it's a pretty strong sign that the way you process the world is unique and, frankly, incredibly powerful.
First up, let's talk about the external habits. This is all about how a high IQ mind sees and interacts with the world around it. And it all starts with noticing things that pretty much everyone else just walks right past.
Now, this is way more than just noticing that 2 things are kind of similar. We're talking about a brain that is constantly, almost obsessively, scanning for connections. It's piecing together conversations, behaviors, data points, and seeing the hidden architecture of, well, of everything. And that's the feeling, isn't it? It's not psychic ability. It's not magic. It's your brain doing lightning-fast calculations on dozens of tiny details that other people just don't register. That's how you get to the conclusion before anyone else even figures out where the starting line is. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. It's not always a superpower. This constant, nonstop analysis is absolutely exhausting. You can't just switch it off. Your mind is always running, always connecting, even when you're just trying to relax and watch a movie. All right, on to habit number 2. This one's for anyone out there who has looked at a clunky workflow at the office, a messy spreadsheet, or a PEC, even the inefficient way someone's loading the dishwasher and felt an actual physical need to fix it. And here's the key difference. See, most people will see a broken, inefficient little process and just shrug. They'll live with it. But for someone with this habit, that inefficiency is like an itch you have to scratch. It's a puzzle begging to be solved. It's not about being a control freak. It's a compulsion to make things work better. I absolutely love this quote because it reframes the whole thing. You're not looking for extra work to do. For your brain, optimizing a system, finding a shortcut, and making things flow smoothly, that's fun. That's literally a form of entertainment. Okay, so we've covered the outside world. Now we're going to shift gears and go internal. These next couple of habits are all about what's going on inside your own head when nobody else is around. Think about it. We live in a world of constant noise, notifications, pings, and buzzes. Most people find true silence uncomfortable, even scary. They run from it. But for a highly active mind, silence isn't empty space. It's essential fuel.
And let's be really clear here. This has nothing to do with being antisocial. It's about being pro-processing. That quiet time, that's when your brain finally has the bandwidth to sort through all the chaos, to connect all those patterns we talked about, and to let those incredible aha moments bubble to the surface. Silence is your brain's real office.
So if you thought that was intense, let's go one level deeper inside that amazing mind of yours. Habit number 4 takes on a word that gets a really bad rap: overthinking. But as you're about to see, there's a world of difference between just worrying and actually strategizing. This is such a critical distinction. Most people hear overthinking and they imagine that anxious hamster wheel, right? The same worry going around and around getting you absolutely nowhere. But there's another kind, layered thinking. It's not a circle. It's a complex map of possibilities. It's not anxiety, it's strategy.
So here's what that looks like. You're basically playing chess against reality, but you're always 5 moves ahead. You imagine every possible outcome. You actively look for every potential flaw in your plan. You run these little mental simulations over and over. So by the time you actually make your move in the real world, you've already prepared for every way it could possibly go right or wrong.
Okay, we've arrived at our final and maybe the most surprising habit of them all. Because after all that intense, complex, internal stuff, it all comes down to something really simple: how you talk to other people. This just flips the whole script on its head, doesn't it? The common idea of a genius is someone who uses big, complicated words. But what if that's all wrong?
What if real genius has nothing to do with showing off how much you know? See, at the end of the day, the highest form of intelligence is clarity. It's the ability to understand a topic so deeply, so completely, that you can explain it to almost anyone in simple, clear terms. This is where that raw intellect we've been talking about meets emotional intelligence. It's the whole package.
So, we've gone through all 5 of these habits. Let's step back and look at the big picture here. What does this all mean for you, right now?
This is what I really want you to take away from all this. If you recognized yourself in these habits, if you're the person who sees patterns, who fixes things nobody asked you to fix, who needs silence, who thinks in layers, and who works hard to make complex things simple, please don't downplay those things. Don't call them weird. Acknowledge them for what they are, hallmarks of a truly powerful mind.
So let's just run through them one last time. Number 1, being obsessed with patterns. 2, that unsolicited problem solving. 3, genuinely enjoying silence. 4, thinking in strategic layers, not circles. And number 5, the art of sounding normal, of making things simple. And that brings us right back to the beginning. Looking at that list, how many of them hit home for you? Was it 2, 3, maybe it was all 5? It's a pretty wild thought, isn't it? That maybe, just maybe, the very things that sometimes make you feel different are actually the clearest signs of how brilliant you really are.